Now for this edit, I didn't really want to do any special video-on-video effects. What I'd rather do with Video Channel 2 is some titling. So let's get ready for that just by deleting this clip right out of the Video 2 track. I'll just select it in the timeline and I'll hit the delete key. Now the first thing we're going to need is a set of titles that we can use inside of that video track 2. So let's go about setting those up first. Premiere Pro actually has a full titler built into it, and we can access that by going up into the File menu here and just choosing New and Title. Now for the name of each title, I usually use something that I'm going to be typing into it. And the first one's going to be a title for our entire video clip, and I'm just going to call it North Pole Solo. So we'll just type that into the name, and again, that's just for identification purposes. I'll click OK, and it brings up our titler. Now the first most obvious thing I'm going to point out is that it's dropped in a piece of video into our background screen. And that's mainly for reference so we can see it in conjunction with our title. The video that it's dropped into the titling screen matches wherever the playhead is in our timeline window. So actually, I want the title for the first clip. So I'm just going to tuck this out of the way for a moment so I can see my timeline. And I'm just going to scroll back to the beginning of our movie. That's where we have that ski ridge clip starting up. And you'll notice as I move my timeline, it's changed the video that's showing in the background of the screen. So now we can add our title and we can see how it'll look in reference to the video it's going to be on top of. Now the titling window gives us lots of different controls, but most of them you probably already know about since you've worked with text in other programs. The main thing I'm going to be doing is adding text. And you can see we have our main text tool. We also have vertical and text along a path. And in addition, down below, we have different kinds of tools to draw shapes for us as well. But I'm just going to focus on the titling aspect. So with the text tool selected, I'm just going to click inside my title panel, and you see we get a normal flashing cursor, and I'll just type. And of course, we wanted North Pole Solo here. Now with this big a type, I typed solo, but it went right off the edge of the screen. And we can easily change that by manipulating the title that we've just created. I'll switch over to the selection tool, and then I can select that title and move it around. Now over in the title properties, we have a lot of different things we can do to set that title up. And again, most of these you're already very familiar with. Now what's probably new to you is the way that you'll work with these controls. So let's pick one out to give it a try. Obviously, I need to change the font size on this one, so we go over to font size and we can see that it's indicating 100 for the point size of the font, and that's a little big. So I want to drop this down. Now the way these controls work is actually really interesting, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. You'll notice as I move my cursor over the tool, I get a little finger pointing with a couple of arrows on it. Well, for any one of these panels here, if you click on the number and just drag your cursor left or right, you can move up or down the value. Now you can also move your cursor up and down if you like, pretty much whatever way is going to work for you. But I'm just dragging my cursor around and I'm just dragging it down until I see that my title looks like about the right size that I'm looking for here. Somewhere around 68. Now if you're looking for an exact value for any one of these controls, all you have to do is double click the value and it drops you into a normal box where I could type in, let's say 70, just to round it off to an even number. I'll hit the Enter key, and I'll have my new 70 value. Now that's a pretty fast way to be able to work with these controls, and you're going to see this type of control a lot throughout the rest of Production Premium. Now I'll just grab my title and move it back into the center of the screen. You'll notice we have a lot of alignment controls and distribute controls down here as well. I think I want to go a little bit smaller because it's kind of an overbearing title, so I'm just going to click on that font size again and just drag it down. And that'll just set my title up so it's not taking over the whole bottom of the screen here. Now obviously you can play with a lot of these other controls and pretty much get whatever kind of title you're looking for. We've got different font family controls that'll let you scroll through the fonts on your machine. We've got position, width, and height controls. And just as an example, you could use the width control to narrow this font up. And notice we're also just stretching our font as we do so. So we can use these kinds of controls to distort our title any way we'd like. Now in addition to base font and size properties, you'll notice we also have properties that allow us to change the fill and the color, opacity of our title, and we can even add strokes both inside and outside the font shape. Lastly, we can add shadows, and we have full control of all the shadows down here as well. If I want a shadow, I'll just go into this box and click it, and you can see that turns all of our shadow settings on, and it gives me that nice drop shadow behind our text. Now, one feature I'm going to make use of is the title styles down here at the bottom. These are super easy because all you have to do is pick out a style that you like and just click on it, and it'll apply that style. In most cases, our styles include font shapes, colors, shadow settings as we see here, and you can take any particular set of settings that you create and make it into your own style and save it down here as well. If you want to delve into making your own styles, you'll find a lot of the features down underneath this Options menu in the Title Styles panel. There you can see how to save a style library, how to load in a new style library, and how to apply and create new styles. For right now, I kind of like the style that we've chosen out of the existing set. So I'm just going to click away from it, and that's going to be my first title. Now, if you're done with the title editor, you can just close out the window, and you'll notice that our new title is sitting right over here inside of our project panel.